Okay, so cloners are pretty cool, but they get way better whenever you add effectors to them. So let's take a look and see what that looks like. I'm going to take a cube, put it in the scene, scale it down a little bit, come up to Mograph, put a cloner in the scene, and make my cube a child of the cloner. Now I'm going to select the cloner, go to the mode, and choose Grid Array. Right now we have 3 by 3 by 3, which is fine. I'm going to pull the size out a little bit to separate these so that I get something like that. Okay. Just create a material. And let's put some kind of a red on this. Drag this onto the cloner. Okay, so that's what we have right now. So the cloner is basically making copies of the cube in a grid array fashion. Okay, that's fantastic. But what if we want to actually add an effector to this? So if we have the cloner selected, I'm going to go to the Effectors tab, and then I'm going to go to Mograph, Effector, and these are all the effectors that we have to choose from. Now, each one of these does something really cool and has a completely different effect on our cloner object. But one that we're going to use right now and that you'll find yourself using probably more than any of the others is the random effector. And you'll notice immediately a couple things happen. The cubes in the scene randomize themselves, random effector. And if you go look at the cloner, in the effectors tab, the random effector is now in there. Now, it's in there because we had the cloner selected when we chose the random effector, when we dropped it into the scene. If we deleted that, and we don't have the cloner selected, and we go to Mograph, choose Effector, Random. We go to the cloner, nothing happened, and that's because it's not here in the Effector tab. It's okay, we can just reach over here and drag it into that box. Same effect. So if you have the cloner selected, when you choose the random effector, or any effector for that matter, it will be automatically applied to the cloner. Now let's take a look at some of the parameters that you have with the random effector. So right now it's affecting the cloner position because that's the only thing that we have selected. So it's affecting 50 centimeters by 50 centimeters by 50 centimeters. If we change these numbers, we're going to have different effect. It'll be affecting it greater in X. We turn that off and choose scale. We could have it scale in these different axes. All this is animatable. Let's go back to the position. We could also affect rotation of the individual clones. We can randomly affect color, so we could make our clones change colors randomly if we wanted to. If we go to the Effector tab, we have the strength, which is the overall strength that this effector is going to have. The selection would allow us to select specific parts of the cloner to affect. So if we only wanted to have the random effector affecting part of our cloner, we could do that with this. We have different modes that we can choose, and we actually have self-animating modes as well. So if I was to start the timeline, push play, if we go to Gaussian, noise is a self-animating mode. So is turbulence. So you get this kind of thing going on. Take this back to random. We could also go over to our fall off tab. And let's say I wanted to change this to something like linear. Grab my move tool. Let me pull this out here so that you can see it a little bit better. This is how you can animate your effectors. So let's select this, and I'm going to make this much bigger, something like this. And based on the settings that you have set up under Effector and Parameter, when you drag this into your cloners, it's going to have an effect on it. Okay, so you can animate this effector going through these to create your animation. And you could adjust things like the fall off. So you'll see the little red gizmo here. That's increasing the fall off. So it happens more gradually. If we took the fall off way down, it's going to happen almost immediately when we drag through. You see that? Okay, so the random effector is a very powerful effector and one that you'll probably find yourself using over and over and over when you're working with cloners.